Hello, everyone. It is Reverend Dr. Katie. I am here with you again, and yet again, I'm in a different environment. And I'm going to tell you why that is in just a minute. So I'm not in the usual spot where you see the tapestry of Bridget behind me. So again, I will tell you the story. This lesson is all about keeping your vibration really, really high, and keeping your vibration high, especially when times are hard. And so this was inspired by my day yesterday. So I live in Northern California where all these fires are happening. And in fact, the campfire, the one that's right next door to me, is the worst and it's the most devastating fire in California in a century. And I didn't even know that until earlier today. It's worse than the ones in the summer that were nearby. And so the smoke was incredible. It was incredibly eerie. Walking outside yesterday morning when it should be bright and sunshiny, and it was this eerie red light filtering like through the smoke, and everything had this kind of red glow. So it's the most eerie thing. If you've experienced that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you never have, trust me, it's a little bit spooky. And so the town next to me, Paradise, and I know we have some people in here from Paradise and Magalia. Blessings, blessings, blessings to all of you. Hope you're safe. Check in with us. Let us know that you are safe. Those towns were evacuated, and a lot of people came to the town where I live. And the air quality is, of course, really tough. And a neighborhood away from me was actually being evacuated. And so my household had to make the choice. Do we go? Do we stay? It didn't look like our neighborhood was going to be evacuated, but we made the choice to go ahead and go because we could. And that way, if our neighborhood was evacuated, we weren't putting additional burden on the town to try to house us. And so that was some of the motivating reasons of why we left, and just to get into better air quality for ourselves as well, and to be able to hold a really high vibration while I'm away. So I want to be there and to be helpful, but there's going to be a lot of help that's needed over the next year. So I will, and I donate through my denomination and their relief fund, and that fund directly gives people small loans and helps them with immediate needs and with long-term rebuilding as well, right? So there's lots of opportunity to help. So left, long drive with the dog. My dog has stitches right now. Like, this is all minor stuff, right? It just contributed to the day. And I started the day with a vibration that was a little influenced by fires and smoke, and concern for my community and concern for people around. And I wasn't particularly traumatized. I wasn't traumatized at all myself, but I kind of started the day with that vibration of got to make a quick decision. What are we going to do? Tune into spirit. Let's go. Drove up, dog has stitches. So I get to the place where we're staying. The heat isn't working for 4 hours, and it's really cold here. It was 40 degrees in the house. So I sit there with a coat on, and I had all these plans for the afternoon. I was going to do a lot of writing. I was getting ready for a conference. There's just all this stuff that I was going to do. And I couldn't do it. And my dog has stitches because he had minor surgery earlier this week before the fires. And he was sitting there shivering. So I had him bundled up in his cute little doggy sweaters and a blanket trying to keep him warm. And finally, the management property people come over, and they're trying to fix the heater, and it finally wasn't fixing. And I was like, it's getting cold, and I have all my instruments with me. I have all my harps with me. And I was like, I have all these delicate instruments, and they can't get into the teens tonight, or they're going to be ruined. And I need a place with heat. So I either need to know, do I need another hotel? They were like, no, we have another house. Let's just take you there. So no, that's where I am right now. That's why the environment is different. So I'm in this other house. So I'm not comparing myself to evacuees at all, right? In a really fortunate position here. My day did not go how I planned for it to go at all. I had that whole Friday blocked out to be at home at my desk doing these particular things. And in fact, I hadn't done them earlier in the week, knowing I would do them on Friday. Okay, plans change, no big deal. Get in the car, but then the 4 hours I had dedicated to do that in the afternoon yesterday didn't get done because it was 40 degrees in this house, and I was trying to fool with the thermostat, couldn't do it. So my vibration had the opportunity to plummet, right? And I was really hungry too, and my dog was hungry. We were both hungry. We needed to eat, right? So I had this opportunity to either start complaining to myself. I had the opportunity to let myself kind of dip into this low spot and then not get anything done later on that day. Or what I needed to do was acknowledge that I felt frustrated. And I did. I just acknowledged to myself, I'm feeling really frustrated right now. And I'm frustrated because I'm really concerned for my community back home. I'm frustrated because there's this wildfire happening. I can't do, I actually, I can do things about it, right? But like, I don't have the power to stop that wildfire on my own. And I'm frustrated because my day is interrupted and the ways that I contribute to the world are being disrupted. So I think one of the mistakes that I see made a lot when we talk about holding a high vibration is not acknowledging where we are. When we don't acknowledge where we are, the weird vibrations get locked inside of us. They will erupt at some point in time. They will. Trust me. They will erupt in your physical health. They will erupt in your spiritual health. They'll erupt in your mental health. They will erupt by snapping at your loved ones, even when your loved ones are doing really nice things for you, right? So we do have to let those emotions flow, but it's after this emotions flow that we have choices. We have choices about what we think, about what we say, about where we spend our energy, about how we spend our words, about how we feel inside. We can make choices about that once that energy flows. So if you have any questions, just please type them in and then I will be sure to address them as we continue on. Okay, so I was able to just acknowledge, yeah, I'm frustrated right now. I knew I was like, my frustration is nothing compared to people who are actually being evacuated from a fire. Like, I knew that, but I was still frustrated, and it was still okay for me to be frustrated at that moment in time, just because the day was really different than than I thought the day would be. Okay. So then I was able just to be like, okay, Katie, everything is taken care of. We made an adjustment. You lost 4 hours. You were a little cold. So what? All right, you're frustrated. Now you're not anymore. Let's make an adjustment. Got to the new place. I couldn't go to dinner the way I wanted to because my dog was freaked out because we were in the third house for the day and he did not know what to do with that. And I could tell he was flipping out at the thought that I was about to grab my keys. So I had to take him with me and just run in somewhere really quick. Fine. I probably saved a lot of time by doing that and not sitting in a restaurant somewhere. Okay, so what happens next is where we want to start to talk about our vibration and our prayers. So our vibration is what we expect to have happen in our lives. So let me just ask you some questions and ask you to tune in to yourself. In your own life, do you expect to become spiritually mature through your own learning, through your own tuning in? Or do you expect to zigzag all over the place looking for different resources but never doing the inner work? Whichever one you expect is the one that will happen. One leads to spiritual maturity, the other leads to zigzag spirituality, right? Do you want to raise your vibration, or do you enjoy being in a low vibration and being unhappy? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I spend 2 or 3 hours just saying, I actually don't really want to raise my vibration because I'm enjoying being irritated right now, right? That doesn't usually, for me, that doesn't last for long, but I sure do see people where that lasts for like their lifetime. Are you eager to experience what the world has to offer, or are you convinced that you never will? Do you expect to be happy, or do you expect to be sad? Do you expect to be fulfilled, or do you expect to be unfulfilled? If any of those are striking a chord in you and you're like, oh my gosh, I have been expecting to be sad for my whole life, or I have been expecting to never be fulfilled in my spiritual life, then it really is time that we take a really good look at what you're doing vibrationally to stay in that space. So for me right now, as far as I know, my house is still standing. The fires have not encroached in my neighborhood. It is my responsibility as a spiritual leader to hold a really high vibration for all those who are undergoing trauma and will need assistance. If I let myself get flustered by a cold house and a changed dinner plan and a changed schedule, and a changed writing schedule for more than, 30 minutes, then I'm really not holding my vibration at the level I need to be a spiritual leader and to be of greatest assistance to others in my community and to all of you. Right? So I'm the one that really has to hold this vibration at a high level for all of us. And I expect you all to be raising your vibration as well. And if you're finding that really difficult, then reach out to me because we can talk about strategies for getting you to be in tune to your own vibration. And of course, the way that you start doing that is through meditation. It's through meditation. And I'm going to talk in a minute about how you infuse your prayers with high vibration as well. So let me pause and say that when you expect to be happy, that's a great expectation to have that will raise your vibration. Does that mean that you'll never be sad? No, of course not. It means that when you are sad, you let that flow through you and you have the tools to be able to deal with it, to feel what you're feeling and to integrate that. And you know that it's not your permanent state of being. Right? So one of the mistakes I see made is that like being high vibration means you have to be in a great mood all the time. No, your moods can fluctuate. It's what you do with the moods and the emotions and the feelings that you have that determines your vibration. We had a question yesterday on what to do about vibration when you are mildly or moderately depressed. And so first of all, I encourage everyone to seek assistance when this occurs. And reframing your thoughts is actually a strategy and a skill of cognitive behavioral therapy that I found to be life-changing. Because when we are depressed, what happens is our vibrations get really, really low because we're depressed. And when our vibrations are low, we have feelings that are telling us things about ourselves that are not actually true. But we start to believe those feelings instead of the eternal truths about ourselves. And cognitive behavioral therapy has a ton of skills to help you tune out the feelings that are not true and to retrain your brain. And retraining your brain also retrains your spirit to believe the things that are true about yourself. And if you get really deep in that depression, you'll start to believe that those feelings are the valid ones, that the feelings that are actually not really true are more valid than the ones that are true that everyone else and that God thinks about you, right? So I'm not a cognitive behavioral therapist, so I can't teach you those skills, but there are lots of qualified people out there who can. So I do encourage people to find assistance with that. And then the tools that I teach people do work in a similar way, but I'm not doing that with people who are in that clinical state of depression, right? So that step one is working with a qualified therapist. Step two is working with someone like me. Okay, so how does this translate into prayer? One of the reasons I stopped in this group, and if you're watching this on another platform that's not on Facebook, please come join our group. It's the Metaphysical Christian Group. One of the reasons I stopped the Saturday weekly prayer circles the way that we've had them for about the past year is because vibrations were getting really low. Your prayer requests are all very legitimate. The way you feel is very legitimate. But I was finding that we were living into the same stories all the time and not raising the vibration about some of those prayer requests. So if that sounds familiar to you and you're like, oh, was I doing that? Then it might be time to jumpstart your vibration and let the vibration infuse your prayer life so that you're actually praying in a way that raises the vibration of yourself, the vibration of the people that you're praying for, the vibration of the world. So let me give you some examples. And this is not pointing fingers. I've been there, I've prayed this way, and I've adjusted the way that I pray. And there's lots of different ways to pray. Sometimes we need a good lament. Sometimes we need a good cry. Again, it's what we do after that that determines our vibration. So if your prayers are constantly blaming external situations for how you feel, if your prayers are constantly asking God to keep you in a place where you're really unhappy, or you're constantly telling God exactly how to do the things that you want to have happen in your life and you're not letting God work that out. If you are persuaded that you don't have gifts and you're believing that it's hard to find out what your gifts are, those are signs that your prayers may be a lower vibration than they need to be, right? And if you find yourself with the same prayers in this regard over and over and over and over and over, and nothing's changing, it might be that you're caught in this low vibration loop and you're not allowing the work of God to do the miraculous things in your life that can be done. And if you're constantly, for instance, thinking that everything is beyond your reach, so if I think that everything is beyond my reach, or that finding out what my metaphysical gifts are beyond my reach, and I'm praying for God to help me find out what they are, but I don't believe that they're within my reach, there's a mismatch there. And these all contribute to prayer maybe not being as effective as it can be. And so in the programs I have with my clients, we actually talk about like what happens at a quantum level and strategies for infusing our prayers with as high vibration as they can be at that day. So we're not going to go from 0 to 100 in like 30 seconds. Well, a few of you do. I've witnessed a few of you who can like instantly manifest things, which is amazing. Most of us, though, we go in increments, right? And so we're going to start at 0, and then we're going to get to 10, and then 15, and then maybe back to 12, and then 17, and then 20, on up the scale. So we want to be at a high vibration as we can at that moment in time. So one of the things that I do is I encourage everyone to begin with meditation. Begin with meditation in your own life, because that clears the deck. That clears the deck so that you can enter into a state of neutral vibration, if that's what you need, or high vibration, or you can acknowledge like, oh, I have been in the same loop. I have been telling myself the same story over and over. Or I've been telling myself I can only do this if, right? Or I've been measuring myself against my peers or against, some standard that maybe doesn't even really exist, right? Meditation helps us figure that out, so that then we know that we're ready to take the next steps. So it helps kind of clear the decks of our spirits, of our minds. So in the link above in the description, I included a link to the free guide that I've created on getting kickstarted with meditation. And this is meditation for Christians, how meditation works, how it's okay. So this will alleviate any fears that you have about meditation turning you into another religion or not being of God. And actually give you some biblical examples and some biblical verses to work with. And then there's a short guide on beginning a meditation practice. Now, let me talk about the misnomer of meditation. Many people think that they need like an entire day to meditate, or that they need an entire weekend, or they have to clear an hour out of their morning. You can do those things, but those are things that you work up to. Those are not things that you start with. Those are not things that I do every single week. I do not meditate for an entire day every single week. It's been a while, actually, since I've done that. I'm busy just like you are. You can actually start with 10 breaths. You can start with 2 minutes. And I teach you how to do that in this guide. And then you follow up with me. Let me know how that's going. I would love to hear from that. So this is your mini lesson on keeping vibration high when times are hard. This is not saying that you will never have hard times. This is saying what to do when those times occur, right? You have it within your power, your immense power, to raise your vibrations. And if you're finding it hard to do that alone, reach out so we can talk about if there are ways that I can help you do that. Okay, so I think that will do it for today. You all know how to find me. This will be available in replay. Please reach out. Let me know how it's going. Comment here. Tag me. You can always private message me if this is striking in your heart and you recognize some patterns in yourself that you are ready to change. Let me know, and let's talk about ways that you can change those. It is wonderful to see all of you. I had posted yesterday, again, in the Metaphysical Christian group, if you're watching this on another platform, I had mentioned, the tragedies going on in my particular neighborhood. A lot of you are reaching out saying that you're praying for me. I appreciate that. I always welcome your prayers. I'm never going to tell you no for that, but actually I'm fine. I am 100% fine. Your high vibration prayers are very much appreciated for the people who have experienced loss. There's been 9 people have died. 6,000 homes have been lost. There are definitely things as a community that we can do better to prevent these fires from happening. And so I'm an active participant in working towards those. And I know that God has God's hand on this situation. And the beautiful things will come out of it, even in the midst of all this loss. So if you're someone who has experienced loss, we are holding you very tenderly in this high vibration state. And sometimes when we can't do that for ourselves, our community can do it for us. So we're doing that for you if you're finding that hard right now. So let your emotions flow. They're totally valid. And then after they have flowed, start to reassess and let's figure this out together, right? Where you're not in this alone. Okay, everyone, and thank you, everyone that's responding, that you're holding us in high vibration. Really appreciate that, and I hold all of you in high vibration as well as part of my daily prayers. And when I feel myself start to wobble, now I have the tools to stop, check myself, let that flow, and return to that state of high vibration. So it's wonderful to see all of you. Reach out, let me know how it is, and I will catch you soon. Bye-bye.